going on in this fragrance. First off, this one has a beautiful, it does have some bergamot, but it's the bergamot's actually listed as a mid note, so it's a deeper lemon. Really, off the top of this fragrance, you get some lavender, some apple, and some mandarin orange, and really that's what you get. So there are some citruses here, but they're a little bit of like a supporting oily type of citrus, and really you just get a lot of beautiful fruity nuances off the top. The apple is the strongest. I'm going to smell it for y'all. Of course I won't talk about the cap and all, but you already know it's a heavy cap, it's a heavy bottle, and the presentation is pretty solid. But that opening with the fragrance, the bottle looks nice, and the opening really grabs you. Beautiful openings in fragrances matter. That's what gets people interested in fragrance. That's what most people pay attention to, and first impressions matter a lot with fragrances or just in life in general. Because when you first smell this fragrance, the average person is going to say, it's beautiful, hands down. I'll buy a bottle, sell it to me, give it to me. And this fragrance has that beauty and that wow factor right off the top of the fragrance. So I seriously, think that is one of the reasons why it's a top selling fragrance. But then it manages to pull off a pretty well made and a pretty well composed fragrance throughout. There's the lavender I mentioned. It's a little bit more of a sweet, of a little bit of a deeper lavender. You don't really notice it, or it's not really something you really pull out of the fragrance. And there's geranium as well, adding a green, maybe slightly sour, almost rosy type of effect. But both of those are very subtle supporting notes, and they really just add to this confident, almost, some people would say almost masculine quality to this fragrance, even though I find this almost a metro, modern, almost unisex fragrance. I think a lot of people would say this is maybe more for the men, but like a confident lady could easily pull this fragrance off. It's so it has a really nice mid. It pulls through. It's not really floral. It manages to be fruity, and then it has a little bit of this confident nature, and it really has this nice balance of sweetness and richness, and really nice balance of things. It never goes too citrus or bright or acidic, and it never really goes too deep. In the dry down, you do get a little bit of patchouli. You get some deeper notes, and really the core factor, and it almost feels like it should be a mid notes listed, but it's vanilla and cardamom, and those are probably the biggest aspects of this fragrance that make it so popular and make it so well loved. That cardamom is adding a seductive spiciness. It's rich and it's beautiful, and cardamom is loved in so many fragrances. Of course, it's what made La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent such a popular big fragrance. And then the vanilla here is a little bit more of an airy vanilla. It's not too sweet, it's not too rich or boozy or dark or woody or anything. It's a really nice vanilla, and it's balanced out really well in the fragrance. And then you also get almost like it's a benzoin, maybe some gaiac wood, so a little bit of an incensey quality to support this fresher notes and support the fragrance. It's just a very well made composition. It's very well done. The transitions are pretty smooth and pretty effortless, and really what you get with this fragrance overall is a fruity top and a confident kind of vibe, but very easy to approach and still fresh feeling. And the quality is pretty good here. And then you get the vanilla and the cardamom. That's mostly what you're going to get. There's patchouli again listed, and maybe a few other notes, and maybe some woods, but those are very much in the background and not big players here. Overall, very well done fragrance, and you can see why it's such a big compliment getter. And also we'll talk about that in a second with the compliments, but it's a popular fragrance for a reason. It wows you in the beginning, and then it transitions well, and then you get some seductive smooth charm, and that's one reason it works so well with dates. So I'm already spoiling some of the aspects of my video, but oh well, it's a good one. This fragrance here, performance-wise, you're going to be very curious about, is this a good performer? Is this not a good performer? Honestly, I get around the 8-hour mark. I really don't get much less, and I think most people are going to get about the 8 hours. If you lotion up, if you layer, if you spray this fragrance on clothes, I have no doubt that you might get a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised if some people claim 10 hours out of this fragrance, but I think the average person might get 8. Projection wise, I would say this is slightly above average. It's not beast mode, it's not extraordinary with the projection, but it's present and it can get noticed. It does have decent sillage as well, so when you walk past people, they can notice you. Sillage isn't monstrous in my experience, but it's pretty respectable. So all things considered, a pretty solid performer, and probably the right amount of performance to get noticed. to get liked and to really get some good attention, you know, in everyday situations. You know, it's strong enough to really present itself and to be, you know, noticeable, but it's not too strong, so it's overbearing and hard to wear in hotter temperatures, or you know, off-putting to other people because it's too loud. I think it pushes and gets to that edge with good performance, but doesn't cross the line of too much for most people. So strikes a really good balance of things. Overall, fantastic fragrance, performance-wise as well. What do I think about, you know, the compliment factor? It's here, guys. It's here. You get that beautiful fruity top. Again, some people might think it's citrusy. Really, it's more of a fruity top with, again, with apple, and apple's really likable. It feels cozy. You get that almost apple cinnamon almost kind of vibe off the top, and it's with that orange and supporting it underneath, and it's just a really likable fragrance. It's got that likability factor, it's got the compliment factor, it's got that seductive factor as well in the dry down with that cardamom and again that vanilla, and it's a little bit incensey, it's a little bit confident, and it manages to have that there's no really a gender to fragrance, but again that geranium and that lavender almost make this fragrance have that almost like a modern, it's not a fougere, it's very different. You know, people, fougere lovers probably wouldn't want me to call this a fougere, but it somehow manages to twist a little bit of that you know, masculine or confident vibe into that fragrance. But this really isn't a fougere at all. But beautiful compliment getter, absolutely. You can get compliments off the top, you can get compliments on the dry down. It really works, and it's going to work in both situations for you. And actually, you know, the little transition in the, you know, that doesn't is a very short part of the fragrance, might not be the biggest compliment getter part of this fragrance, but it's surprising that through most of the time, pretty much for the entirety of the fragrance, this is a compliment fragrance. You know, sometimes the opening is the compliment part, sometimes the dry down is, but this one, you really don't have to worry about either of those. It's kind of it's something that's likable throughout. So what are my final thoughts with the price? Y'all know that this is not a cheap fragrance. These are, you know, you can get, if you find a really good deal on a discounter. Again, I recommend Fragrance by CA. I'm not really affiliated with them, but you know, they have sent me some fragrance to talk about their big sale, and I'm excited. I'm going to talk about those in the future. But I'm not really affiliated with them, but I do recommend you check them out. FragranceNet is good as well. There's Max Aroma, Notino. There's a few different places depending on where you live. And this fragrance you can find it around the $150, $160 range for the big four. It's a 4.2 ounce bottle, so it's bigger than normal. I think that if you do get it on sale for around that price, I think you're getting your money's worth. Full retail wise, honestly, I think Parfums de Marly is a little bit overpriced. That's always been my problem with Parfums de Marly. My Layton exclusive even a little bit more than this, even though this is gorgeous. I just think that for what you're getting, the price is a little bit too much. You know, I think that these fragrances are comfortably would be 200, maybe 250. Asking 350 or so for these fragrances, I think is a bit much for the quality and the you know, for what you're getting. Are they well blended? Yes. Is the quality good? Yes. But is it you know, is it really worth $350 or sometimes more for some of their exclusives and the Arabians ones and all that stuff? I personally don't think so. So that's my only qualm against these fragrances. I do respect that this is one of the most popular fragrances in the game. This is definitely will get the seal of approval. I can see why this is hyped. I can see that why this became so popular and why everybody was talking about it on the street. So Layton by Parfums de Marly, a solid creation, well made, well put together. You know, I do almost, for me, when I like strong, confident fragrances, I wish that something bold would come out of this. That's why I guess the exclusive is around with the coffee and the oud. But it's a nice fragrance. It's very well done, and a lot of guys will like it. So check it out, guys. I think you'll like this one. Also, check out the Armani's Blue Lazuli. Also deserves to be hyped. So wear what you love, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. Have a beautiful day, my friends, and I hope you enjoyed my review. I'll catch you soon, everybody. I'll catch you in the next video, and bye.